In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use Proxmox and OPNsense. First, you're going to want to install Proxmox on a bare metal machine. What the bare metal machine entails to something with the motherboard, CPU, RAM, and just enough video memory just for you to see any graphical portions. Not much is required. You're going to install Proxmox through something like this, through their website. On the download links, we used Proxmox 8.3, but what you see is 8.4, which is the latest version. The installation is no different from Linux itself, so it's going to be pretty similar if you use Linux, but it's pretty straightforward. You just provided some basic information, give it a password that you're going to use later, networking that you're also going to use to log into the Proxmox web UI as well. The username is root and the password is whatever you gave it during the installation process. The IP address is what you're going to use on the web interface with the :8006. And again, it'll prompt you for login, which is root, and then the password that you gave it. You can use your own operating system to use the web UI, or you can use another virtual machine like I am using here. Doesn't matter. It'll say connection is in private. You can proceed because it's Proxmox. Root, and then the password that you provided. And you successfully logged in. You're going to want to install OPNsense or use the download link. You can copy the link and make sure that it's the DVD image type, as I'm doing right here. Copy link, and then after some setting up with Proxmox, you can go to the ISO storage location to where you can insert the link that you downloaded or copied. It also works the same for any other operating systems that you're going to install, such as Windows or Linux or Kali, doesn't matter. Under URL, you're going to paste the link. File name, you can give it a name. For this example, I'm going to put OPNsense. And then make sure you query the URL. After it's finished, you can hit download. Depending on your connection, it'll only take a few minutes. I've sped up the process. After that is set up, you can create a virtual machine, which is shown on the top right. You'll see create VM. Click on that. VM ID does not matter. You can give it a name. Since you're using OPNsense, we're giving it the name OPNsense. Operating system, you're going to use the storage, which is local, and the ISO image that we just downloaded. Type other and proceed. I've not messed with the system or disk. CPU, I gave it 1 socket and 2 cores. It doesn't require much. And under type, I gave it the host, which is my virtual machine, just for an example. Memory, I gave it 2 GB, but you can add 8 or 4, doesn't matter. Networking, since there's only one bridge, I just selected default, and the model, I gave it the VirtO, which is para virtualized. You can also add another bridge to it, which I'll show you momentarily. After settings you're satisfied with, you can hit continue. Under system and network, you can create another bridge by hit creating, and then Linux bridge, and then you'll see virtual 1 and create. Don't need to add any IP addresses or anything like that. Entering into your Proxmox device, ensure that you click on OPNsense and add another hardware device, which will be for network. So you can add 2 network devices, one for wide area network and another for local area network. Ensure that you jot down which MAC address you're going to use, because one of them will be used for your local area network, which will allow you to use OPNsense locally and act as a router itself. We're going to assign interfaces and set IP addresses to those interfaces. So after assigning a interface by pressing 1, you're going to choose which one's going to be your wide area network and your local area network by choosing which VTnet, 0 or 1, that you're going to use. Like I mentioned, you're going to want to use the MAC address that corresponds to the right area network, local area network, or the wide area network. Local allows you to use OPNsense, while wide area network allows you to use the internet if you're going to use it. I've assigned the wide area network as VTNet 0 and the local area network as VTNet 1. It also corresponds to the network bridge as well that you created earlier. Pressing 2 allows you to assign IP addresses. We're only going to assign IPv4, not IPv6, nor are we going to assign DHCP. So our local area network is going to be 192.168.0.1. And the wide area network is what we used for our project, which was 172.17.251.1. The subnet mask we provided at 24, which is 255.255.255.0. After you signed your local area network and your wide area network, you can test on a isolated device to see if it's connected to the network. Username is root and the password is OPENsense, OPNSENSE.
Proxmox installed. I will now be showing you how to create a virtual machine. In order to create a virtual machine, simply go up to the top right here and create virtual machine. For this purpose, we will go Windows, virtual machine, example. Go ahead and click next. For the ISO image, you'll go ahead and click this. Since we're using when we're doing Windows, we will use our window ISO right here. Go ahead and select next. For this, I will keep it at default, and for this, I will also keep it on default. But for you, go ahead and change it to whatever you need. On the CPU here, I will select 4 cores. And for memory, I will give it 4096 and a minimum of 1024. Go ahead and select next here. And I'll leave this on default for now. Select next. On this screen, this is where you can check all your values and everything. You can also select a box here that says start after created. But I'm not going to do that because I still need to add CD hard drive. So I will go ahead and select finish here. Okay, after you're done, you can see your virtual machine on the top right here. We'll go ahead and select this and go into hardware. And this is where I will add a new hard drive. One I'll be adding is a vert IO, and I simply select add. Okay, once you get everything done, when you click on your virtual machine here, you should get a page like this. Go ahead and select next to install. We'll click we don't have a product key here. And we'll do Windows Pro next. Accept license terms. Custom install. We're going to load the driver that we just put in. Browse. Under CD, AMD, Windows 10. OK. Next. Select this. Go ahead and select next. Okay, after everything's downloading, you should come up to a scene like this, screen like this. Make sure it's the United States. Just click yes. Go ahead and just click skip. And for this, just go ahead and select I don't have internet for now. And we can go with continue with the limited setup. Go ahead and just add a name. I will just add mine in. We will use the same password. Apple 8335. ahead and do your security questions. For me, I like to turn all these off. I'll just go ahead and select not now, select not now. Okay, now that everything is done, you should come up to a screen like this with your Windows installed. I will now pass it on.
I will be going over the configuration of the LAN and the WAN. Here we have OPNsense acting as our router, firewall and VPN. Here we have bridge A for our clients and bridge B for our servers. Bridge A is our WAN, and this has access to the physical network card, the physical network interface card, sorry. This allows us to have access to the internet. Okay, so how do you configure the LAN and the WAN? So EN0 is our physical network interface card, which allows us to have access to the internet. So from here, if I was to create the WAN, I would create a Linux bridge, and what makes this unique is that over here I would have to specify the ports, and I would specify EN0, which would create the WAN. And if I was creating a LAN, I would just leave everything blank and just create. That's how it goes. So from here, you would go onto the OPNsense software, and from here you would see an option here for when you create this interface and this bridge, and when you see it here, you can basically configure it from here. So in the case of the WAN, here I would scroll down a bit, and we change this to static IP address, because we configured our VMs with static IPs, especially our clients. And if you scroll down even further, you can see that we gave this interface a specific IP, which you can see here, and we also gave it its own unique gateway. As for the LAN, it's pretty much the same thing. The only unique thing is that we did not give it a gateway, but we made sure to give it a IP address. This way, the devices on that side of the network, which is the servers, will also have an IP address similar to this. So that pretty much sums up the configuration of the WAN and the LAN. You could also do it directly from the OPNsense machine itself, the VM itself, although I would not recommend this because it is a bit more complicated and there is more room for error on here. So I would suggest just using the OPNsense software, which is much easier. And yeah.
How's everyone doing? So quickly, I'm just going to show you guys how to configure OpenVPN on OPNsense. To get started, you just have to go to System, Access, Users. As you can see, we've already created one. To create a new one, all you have to do is click Add here. Username, you can make it whatever you'd like, and then obviously create a password as well. You can fill these out, it's not necessary. Most important thing is to scroll down to group membership and select admins, as so. Once you're done with that, you want to save it. After you've done that, you want to scroll down to trust and select authorities. Once again, we've created one already. All you have to do is select add if you want to create a new one. Here, you want to leave everything as is. Name the description of the certificate or the authority certificate. Issuer is going to be self-assigned. Lifetime, you can leave this as is or change it to whatever you'd like in days. Country code can be wherever you're located in the world. And once you're done with that, hit save. Next, you want to go down to certificates under trust. Create a certificate for the OpenVPN server. To do that, once again, just have to go to add here. This is going to be create an internal certificate. You can name it whatever you like. Here you want to make sure you select server certificate and not client. Save on this firewall. You can leave everything here as is. Issuer, you're going to want to assign the previous certificate authority that you created. Lifetime and days, you can set this to whatever you'd like, and country code is wherever you're located. After that, just hit save. Alright, so the next step would be to go down to VPN, OPENVPN, and then servers. Here you're going to create a server. As you can see, we've already created ours. You're going to want to use the wizard for your setup. It's not necessary, but it's very helpful. Here you're just going to leave it at local user access. Certificate authority is going to be the certificate authority that you created earlier in this video. Select next. Here you're going to select the server certificate. Interface, select WAN. Protocol is going to be UDP. Local port can just be the default 1194. You can name the instance if you'd like. You can leave all of this checked. Encryption, you can select AES 256 CBC for this. Digest, you can select the 256-bit. For the IPv4 tunnel network, you're going to want to select a network that you are not using within your test environment or your setup. For example, our WAN is on a 172 network and our LAN is on a 198 network. And so for our IPv4 tunnel, we decided to use a 10.0.8.0/24 IPv4 address network. Here I can just put 0.24. You can leave this if you're not using any IPv6 addresses. Local network, so this is going to be the local network that you're trying to access remotely. In our case, it was 192.168.1. You can leave all of this blank. Expression. No preference works as well. And once you're all done with that, all you have to do is click next. Alright, so it looks like the local port is in use, obviously because we have one set up already. But as for other settings, this should be how you set it up. So once you're done with that, you're gonna want to double check all of your roles in the firewall tab. OpenVPN rules. Wide area network rules. You just want to be able to allow all traffic. And once you've verified all that, the final step is to go under VPN and OpenVPN once again. Hit client export. And this is where you're going to export the file and send it over to your client device to import and then be able to access the private network that you've configured. Alright, so here I am on the client device. You're going to want to download OpenVPN. Here you're just going to right click and you're going to import the file that you've created. you can send it over to your client device through email. That's how I did it. Here you're just going to import the file, select the file, and select open. From there it should appear here, and then once that's there, you just hit connect. And then here you're going to log in with the user information that you created on OPNsense. In our case, that was our information. There you have it. We're connected. So to show that I am connected to the internal LAN network, which we configured to allow us access to OPNsense, here you can see I have access to OPNsense because of the OpenVPN server. If I was to disconnect it, I would no longer have access to OPNsense. So if I refresh this, I won't have any connection to it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.